Hi, this is Michael P. Coleman, Content Director for Brother Be Well. Thanking you for checking out this series, this trauma and healing series brought to you by Blue Shield of California's Blue Sky Initiative. According to your print story, you were left behind with relatives. Your grandmother had left a will that allowed for your provision. So she tried to take care of you. Even after she was gone, she set up a plan to have you taken care of. Your relatives disregarded those plans. And I've got to tell you, Patrick, one of the aspects of your story when you described your family eating a meal and not feeding you, and you found yourself eating from the sink. I cannot imagine um, being on either side of that equation, forcing a child to eat leftovers from the sink or being that child. So, talk about that a little bit. How did you manage to move on past that? Talk about that, man.
Yeah, so, you know, in Vietnam, a will doesn't exist. I think it's just an honorary system where, when my grandma passed, she didn't have the will, but everybody in the household knew how much she cared about me and, the house that she left behind. Um, I was supposed to be allowed to live there, and that my family was supposed to take care of me the way that many Asian households do. They take care of their own.
Mm.
Um, Unfortunately, it's hard for me to blame my uncles and aunts, even though I do blame them for not taking care of me. It's hard to blame them because my grandma has 11 kids.
Mm.
So about eight of them survive. If I remember correctly, there's a lot of them. So
Mm.
there's eight of them that survive through poverty and everything that Vietnam has to go through as a country. Um, and out of eight of them, I think five of them live in the same house, or four of them live in the same house. We have a four-bedroom house, and each in Vietnam, the housing was create differently where as you can see in the background, this is my bedroom and there's no restroom in here, but in Vietnam each room is equipped with a bathroom because the family that live in that unit is almost confined to that unit as a small apartment,
Mm.
if you may, and it's
Mm.
the room there is actually smaller than the room that you see in the background here.
Mm.
um, so there was four room in that house. So there's four family that live in that house, and then there was me. So I didn't fit into anywhere because each household have a husband, a wife, and one, if not two children that live with them. So to ask them to take on additional person is a lot. Not only that they don't have the space, they don't have the resources either.
Mm.
So going back, it's hard for me to blame them, even though I do as a child blame them and have so much resentment for them for not taking care of me.
Mm.
Um, the way that we structure meals is that someone is responsible for making meals for the whole family, that day or that week or however, and everybody is presumably have a portion of food that they are supposed to eat. It's not that they didn't leave me anything to eat, it's that they didn't leave me enough to eat. As a growing teenagers, everybody went through their teenagers and puberty at one point. You're hungry all the time. And when you don't have enough food to eat, it takes your focus away from your study, from your daily activities, and so on and so forth. And I remember that day I already had lunch and I came home after school for whatever reason that I could not remember. And I was so hungry and I would just want to have a snack, if not another meal, because the previous meal was so small. Um, but there was nothing with my name on it.
Mm.
And of course, um, being painfully aware of my situation where nobody wants to take care of me, um, let alone giving me extra resources, I didn't dare to ask, like, can I eat something else in the refrigerator or on the stove? And I remember just going to the sink to wash my face. It was quite tired. It's a hot day in Vietnam. It's very humid there, and I remember as I was washing my face, there's a plate or a bowl of food in the sink that has some water and soap in it already because they were doing dishes or whatnot, and I was so starving, if not to a point of being famished. Um, I just remember unconsciously picked up the food and put it in my mouth.
Mm.
And as I swallow it, I just remember this sense of shame that I have because this is not something that a human being should be doing, let alone an educated individual. Because even though we were poor, my grandma put me through elementary school, middle school, and I was in high school at that point. I was a high schooler eating food right out of the sink that someone has left and let water and soap run through. I that would has to be the second lowest point in my life. But it's just how many low point can a human being have?
Well, that's a great, somewhat rhetorical question. You would be a person that can answer that, Patrick. I don't know how many they could take, and I would agree with you. It felt like a low point when I read the story, and so thank you for being willing to share some of the details of that with the Brother Be Well audience.